What's going on, everyone? So lately you might have seen the Ray Red discard deck that has been pretty proliferate throughout the games that we played on the channel with set 2. But I want to give you a different take on Ray, and that is Ray Green. You trade off some of the more really strong cards in the controlling matchups or longer matchups such as Pillage, Force Throws, or in some cases Poe could be really powerful in those red-based games for a little bit more ramp and a better game against aggro. You get more restore cards that are exceptional in that matchup, and you have the ability to ramp into Ray a little bit quicker, which is exceptionally important because of her restore 3, and you get access to ECL and some time interventions which can help you control the board. It's just a way better earlier stage of the game with Ray Green for the aggro matchups, which ends up being pretty solid and works really well in the meta right now. So before we dive into the list and talk about all the specific choices and place of games, I want to mention I have a TCG play link in the description down below. Go ahead and use it. It helps me out as well as helps you out to pick up any of those set 2 cards or set 1 cards or just this entire deck if you want. But let's talk about Ray first. For those of you that don't know, Ray is a vigilance heroism leader with a 1-cost action to exhaust her and give an experience token to a unit with 2 or less power. The idea is that you want to play these units that might have raid or grit that could buff up their attack later, but start off with a low base attack, which really benefits Ray. She flips her 6, has restore 3 as a 2/6, and on attack you can give an experience token to a unit with 2 or less power, so you can give it to herself, so she becomes a 3/7. This was actually a lot stronger than I initially kind of viewed Ray, and it's actually worth just ramping into with how many powerful options you have, especially in green. This is where it becomes really exceptional. So, as I mentioned, we've seen a lot of Ray Reds. You're giving up on K2SOs, Podamarins, Pillages, these types of cards. Instead, what are cards that we get with green? Well, the first one is Resupply. Okay, Resupply just is absolutely amazing. With Ray, you can ramp into her, and while Resupply might not be a card that you normally want in the aggro matchup, in this deck, you actually do because Ray has that Restore 3 and is able to really control the board. On top of that, we get access to ECL, which is by far the best base in the entire game. I don't think anyone would dispute that, which helps us control the board early. We also get access to Sundari Peacekeepers, modded cohorts, Traitorous, and Ewing reinforcements. All 4 of these cards are exceptional. Sundari just helps us give us restore. Again, way better in the aggro matchup and is just an amazing unit with Ray. It can become essentially a 5/7 on attacks. Modded cohort, a nice ambusher. Again, great in the aggro matchup or any sort of, value trading scenario. Traitorous, one of the most powerful cards from set 1. I would wager that this is potentially the most swingy, the most game impacting card in certain matchups. Now, in some other matchups, they can defeat it with disabling Fang Fighters. You have to know what matchup you're in. But, stealing heck like a super laser tech is already pretty good. But taking like a Queel or a Yoda that has a Jedi lightsaber on it, boom, suddenly the game is completely in your favor. And then Ewing reinforcements just helps us give that big, huge swing. It can hit things like Luke for us, or a 1-drop plus Obi-Wan, or just a bunch of other cards. Kind of a hidden gem of this deck is actually Clone Deserter. This is a card that we've played frequently. It's good in Boba, it's good in Sabine, aggro decks, but in Ray, it's a turn 1, 3/4 with restore 1. Again, another way to restore and another way to control the board in the aggro matchup. And you can kind of see that theme. It's just really tough to kind of whittle away and damage Ray with all these cards kind of controlling the board and just getting you more value over the course of a game. Outside of the kind of green cards that I mentioned, we have Time Intervention, Price on Your Head, Inspiring Mentor as other cards from set 2. Time Intervention is just really nice, gives us extra ECLs essentially, or ambush options from the resource pile. Price on Your Head is another way to ramp. There's only 2 of them compared to the full 3 resupply, because in some cases it's going to be a little bit awkward. We might not have the unit to kill their unit, or they might not have a unit that we can actually kill. And Inspiring Mentor, just a one-of. It's kind of like a 4th copy of Jedi Lightsaber, but gives us a little bit of a difference in that Jedi Lightsaber is only really good if you have a certain board for it, and you have like maybe a Force unit or just a way to get some value out of it. Same with Inspiring Mentor, but in that case, you actually need a secondary unit. So when Ray comes down, you put an Inspiring Mentor on her. That could be really powerful. So it really depends on the specific scenarios. And then on the more top end of our curve here, we got ourselves some Marauders, some Home Ones, and Obi-Wans. Marauder, excellent, can help us ramp into Rey if you happen to have the kind of requirements met. Home One is a really nice way to kind of finish out the game, which gives a ton of value, kind of like more copies of U-Wing reinforcements. And Obi-Wan coming down the same turn as Rey can really give you a ton of value, protect yourself, pump up Rey, and help you restore over many turns to come. And then to round out our deck, we have a couple of, not filler pieces, but just pieces that are in the deck that help us really hammer home our game plan. We got Yoda, Queel helps us draw cards. This card's been super underrated, I think. Also has Restore. Yoda also Restore. Also, both of them work with Rey's action. And Concord Dawn Interceptors just completely locks down space for us in the earlier stages of the game. And then lastly, we have like Covert Strength and Restored Arc 170. Covert Strength is kind of like that third copy. I usually like to have like 3 to 4 copies of smuggle options in the deck, because there are a lot of scenarios where they come into play, extremely relevant from our resource pile. And then Restored Arc gives us another space unit, again, with Restore 1. If you look at the cards that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 play sets of cards on turn 1 and turn 2 that have Restore. And then Rey herself has Restore, Luke has Restore, and Home One has Restore. So there's so many ways to kind of beat out the aggro game plan. And it's not even necessarily like our complete goal, as this is just really well positioned units for Rey herself, because even in the matchups where it's more mid-range focused, all of those units can actually grow because of Rey's action, which is extremely relevant. So let's go ahead and dive into some games today and see what we're able to do with Rey Green. All right, and on to our first matchup, and we got a matchup against Han Green. I think this is a pretty reasonable hand. We have a couple 1-drops here. We can go like turn 1 Clone Deserter, and then turn 2 Inspiring Mentor plus R2. Like that could be pretty good. So I'm actually not going to mulligan this. I'm actually going to put back the Sundari Peacekeeper and Restored Arc. You might notice I made a little bit of a change. A couple of you asked about the chat. You wanted to see the chat here on the right-hand side. And, well, I went ahead and moved myself a little bit over to the left. So I'm covering up, I guess, the deck and stuff. But we got, well, a little bit access to the chat, which is kind of nice. They went turn 1 Sparker Rebellion, and they decided to take my R2, which honestly is a very weak play. I am very surprised they decided to take that over something like Resupply, or even the Inspiring Mentor, because we just have a good play next turn. Like if they take the R2, we Resupply. If they take the Inspiring Mentor, we Resupply. And if they take the Resupply, then we go back to our original plan. I just think that R2 was the weakest of those 3 cards. Like, I think if you're going to break up one of the plays, I think you take the Inspiring Mentor almost every single time. Looks like they're going to exhaust my Clone Deserter, which is totally fine. I'm just going to Resupply. Like, if our opponent wants to do this, like, play Leia on turn 2, play a Spark Rebellion on turn 1, like, this is a very, very, very weak options that they have right now. So pretty happy with what's going on here. Let's see what they've got. They could like Resupply and then use Han action. They're gonna Waylay. What are they doing over there? This is actually really crazy. We're just gonna modded cohort, kill their Leia, put an experience token on it. I mean, this is like very us favored. It's not like maybe they didn't have any other options, but like what they're doing is extremely advantageous to us, because what we could do here is actually deploy Rey, deploy Clone Deserter, and then pump Rey with a Jedi Lightsaber and an Inspiring Mentor. So, I mean, we are super advantaged here. Let's go ahead and flip over Rey, give her a Jedi Lightsaber and an Inspiring Mentor. So Jedi Lightsaber on the Rey, Inspiring Mentor on the Rey, hit the tech, give an experience token, and then an experience token. Oh man, that's a little unfortunate. So what should happen is you should be able to stack the triggers to where you get the Rey experience on Clone Deserter and then the Inspiring Mentor, but unfortunately it looks like Carabas isn't quite advanced to do that. So our Clone Deserter should be at a 4-5 right now, which is a little bit unfortunate. But they're not playing blue, so they can't have like a Rivals Fall. So an Inspiring Mentor plus Jedi Lightsaber on Rey is probably just game over for them. They've done a lot of kind of nonsense here where they've played like Waylays and Spark Rebellion and turn 2 Leia, turn like what for Cloud Rider plus Tech. Tech is really weak. Tech DJ combo is exceptionally weak, and you can see here opponent is disconnected. I know a lot of people love the Tech DJ, nonsense, but it's very, very mid, and I think that was kind of what they were going for. Regardless, even if that's what they were trying to do, they didn't have really good plays at the beginning. Spark Rebellion turn 1, when that was our hand, was really, really good, and I think they took the wrong of the options available to them. But regardless, I mean, we kind of just won by default. They didn't really do much, and we just got Ray out. So I guess we win. On to the next against Moth Tarkin Yellow. This is a very popular deck, but this one we really just don't really care about what they're doing for the most part. We just put our cards into play and we kind of ride that all the way through with Restore and ignoring what they're trying to do. We can compete with what they have in terms of putting experience tokens on stuff. Like if they have a 1-drop here to put an experience token on something, then we match with our experience on Clone Deserter, and we generally will outvalue them. So they went Incinerator Trooper. I'm just gonna go ahead and give an experience to Clone Deserter. The way this goes poorly for me is if they Surprise Strike on turn 2, kill my Clone Deserter. But if they do that, we just play a Sundari Peacekeeper, and that's not exactly very scary for us. We could even resupply this turn. So they are gonna have to have something pretty good. As I said, there's the Surprise Strike. I am just gonna go ahead and get down a Sundari Peacekeeper. And yeah, they could put an experience token on the Incinerator Trooper, but it doesn't really do anything for them, right? Because we just kill their Incinerator Trooper regardless. So that's like, again, a pretty weak play. Here we have Yoda, Resupply. What do we want to do? I think Resupply is the most exciting here. So I'm probably just going to go ahead and kill their Incinerator Trooper, Resupply, and put an experience token on Sundari Peacekeeper. We are heavily advantaged at this point because we are going to get a Ray down when they get a Tarkin down. We have board presence under our control, and we have more powerful things later on in the game. So this is really, really good for us. Not to mention, I mean, we have a Marauder, which is one of the best cards against their TIE Phantom. So unless they have something like, for example, a TIE Advanced, they're going to be in major, major trouble, especially since they can't even kill Sundari Peacekeeper with Tarkin, which is really unfortunate. So let's see what we got going on here. Hopefully they don't have something too crazy. I think one of the worst things that could come into play is like a triple dark raid plus something, maybe. I don't know. TIE Advance coming down is really not that scary. I just don't think our opponent can really deal with what's going on here. Let's just go ahead and give an experience over to Sundari Peacekeeper. And yeah, they can hit for, well, a reasonable amount here. They can hit for 8. But like, does that really matter? No. Here comes Tarkin. Let's go ahead and hit Tarkin. And then hit Tarkin again. Okay, they're going to do that. That's fine. Let's go ahead and play a Marauder. Ambush. We don't care. We're going to ambush, kill the TIE Advanced. And then we're just going to go ahead and get hit for 9. Sure. We're going to restore 3, get an experience on Ray. And then we're going to see what we got. And look at that. We have a Traitorous, and they have a Phantom with 9 power. Like, it's why I put Traitorous in the deck, guys. This is why I put Traitorous in the deck. Let's hope they start putting experience tokens on this thing and kind of going to town that way. Overwhelming Barrage, huh? That's a good card. That's a good card. But we are just going to take it with Traitorous. Again, this says you can't be captured, damaged, or defeated. This is just take control of the TIE Phantom. So, yeah, they Overwhelming Barrage. We Traitorous their TIE Phantom. And guys, this is kind of why I play Traitorous. Decks like this, they just get absolutely hosed by a Traitorous. And you can see here, it is literally just kind of game over. We are hitting for 11. I guess I could have played the Clone Deserter there. That was a little bit of a mistake. I was getting too excited about my my Phantom Traitorist. But I mean, the game is kind of just over now. Like, what can they do? Tarkin's all about kind of building up this incremental advantage. They stacked it so they could try to get Overwhelming Barrage to wipe my board. But I mean, a Traitorist just wins the game. And that's kind of what happens, you know. If we can't deal with the Phantom with Marauder earlier on, then we can always Trader it later on. If we didn't have Traitorous in that spot, they would have hit us for 11, and then we would have been in trouble for sure. Like, that's kind of where that game goes downhill. So we are fortunate enough to draw Traitorous, because I think that if they had the Overwhelming Barrage and they hit exactly kind of what they needed, and then that turn, instead of Traitorous, we go U-Wing Reinforcement, and maybe we can hit something like Marauder plus something, or whatever it is that we actually need. Maybe we can restore our way out of it and hold on for long enough, like we get Concord Dawn Interceptors or something install against the TIE Phantom. Like, there are some options that we could potentially have. Would have been a lot harder, of course. But that's in a situation where our opponent has exactly what they're looking for. They even did the Surprise Strike Incinerator Trooper, which is what I was saying that we had to avoid. They had the TIE Advance, and they had Overwhelming Barrage, which is kind of what you're looking for on the TIE Phantom. And Traitors just kind of hosed it. So pretty good stuff. On to the next. And on to the next game. If that last game didn't show you why I put Traitorous in my main deck, I don't know what will. This is a pretty good hand. We got ourselves a pretty nice curve. I like the Inspiring Mentor in this matchup because growing our units big is a way we can deal with Vader. But I also like Resupply. I think you could get rid of the Sundari Peacekeeper or the Marauder here. There's a decent chance they don't have amazing space units. So I think I'll resource the Marauder. I think I'd rather have the Sundari Peacekeeper here. So we're going to go Clone Deserter and then give it an experience token. This is Vader Green, but without ECL, which is a little bit advantage us. We're going to go ahead and put an experience token on the Clone Deserter. And they're going to just pass, I suppose. Nothing too crazy going on here. R2 is pretty interesting. I think I prefer R2 in this spot over Clone Deserter. So I'm going to go ahead and resource the Clone Deserter. They have open fire. Okay, so pretty nice kind of play there for them. They had the perfect 1-2 punch to deal with our Clone Deserter, so pretty nice. But we ended up keeping up pace with our own resupply. Here we can go Sundari Peacekeeper plus Inspiring Mentor if we want. We can always modded cohort something. Remember, their flip is on 7 resources, ours is on 6. So our goal here is to take advantage of the fact that we are going to be able to flip Rey before they can do anything. A card that we do have to worry about is Overwhelming Barrage. So we have to be careful about not getting completely overwhelmed by that. Here, I like Sundari Peacekeeper plus R2. They can go in and deal a damage with Darth Vader, or they could have some other option available to them. I don't like modded cohort because it just kills their Death Star Stormtrooper, and then they can ping a unit, which is pretty bad for us. They resupplied, which is a little unfortunate for us, considering that they're now going to have a flip at the same time that we will. Put an experience token on Sundari and then pass. Jedi Lightsaber was a pretty great draw here, because now we can really soup up Rey for like a massive value train. If they have like a Darth Vader or a Maul, we could be in trouble. Darth Vader would be the one that I'm most scared about. Yep, because they could get like a Phase 3 Dark Trooper. If they get a Phase 3 Dark Trooper, we are in a pretty big amount of trouble. Okay, so they just picked up a Super Laser Technician, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and hit their Death Star Stormtrooper. They might flip Vader here. Let's just pass. Because if we... Yeah, I mean, they're probably just going to claim initiative here, is what I would do. I'm going to pass because their Vader will just kill my Rey. Yep, makes sense to me. That's kind of what I would have done as well. Vader was the card that we really needed to avoid. They kind of had the perfect counter to what we were doing, right? They were able to go ahead and just get a ton of value in every single situation. Here, I mean, we don't really have great plays. We play Rey, they kill it with Vader. We play Obi-Wan, they kill it with Vader. Just go ahead and modded cohort, no ambush. Great Dragon. All right, GG. That is a game. Really just got absolutely crushed there. Nothing that we could really do. That was just like complete decimation. I think our opponent played well. Again, right when I passed, we really didn't have any options. I could have put my Jedi lightsaber on R2, but that's pretty bad in that spot. It was really the fact that they were able to price on your head, plus open fire, plus play something, plus resupply a secondary time. And that kind of double ramp aspect was really, really strong. I played a lot of Vader Green, and that deck is very strong, and you can see why. Very good. Our next matchup is against Thrawn Green. This is probably a more mid-range style of list rather than controlling list, but we have triple Jedi lightsaber. I think this is going to be just a straight up mulligan. And then we draw into double Luke. This is an okay hand. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of one of the Lukes and a timely intervention. At least we do have a turn 1 play in the clone deserter, so we can go ahead and start ourselves off with that. And then put an experience token on it, which is going to be pretty nice. They get to see our hand, but I mean, this is reasonable for us. They can potentially exhaust our clone deserter next turn, but we have arc 170 plus experience token now, so that's kind of cool. If not, I probably would have just put the Jedi lightsaber on clone deserter. Jedi lightsaber is very weak in this matchup on anything that's like not Rey, because all he has to do is reveal a 1 cost or higher card. That's it, and we can't really prevent them from just continuously exhausting the clone deserter. So definitely pretty unfortunate for us. They might have gone for the, hey, I'm gonna just exhaust this unit and hope they don't have anything, which honestly ends up really working out well for us, because that is totally okay with us. If they just want to spend their whole turn just preventing their Viper probe droid from dying, that favors us pretty massively. Unfortunately for us, both of our units are 3 power, so we can't like resupply plus put an experience token on something. We can just go ahead and put a resupply down, though. They're going to go ahead and go with the same play yet again. They're going to reveal a home 1. Okay, we're just going to kill their Viper probe droid then. That's totally fine. They're going to ECL out a Royal Guard. Wow, that is like really weak. Obviously, I don't know what their hand is, but the fact that they went ahead and used their entire ECL for a Royal Guard that killed my clone deserter after I had already killed their unit, that is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly weak. So let's just go ahead and get down to Concord Dawn Interceptors here. Let's go ahead and flip Rey. Yeah, let's go ahead and deploy Rey. And then let's see what they decide to do. They're going to go ahead and hit my base. I think I just want to ignore their Royal Guard. I want to pump up Rey and then give her a Jedi lightsaber just to make her really tough to deal with. And I mean, look at this hand. Double Ewing reinforcements, Luke, home 1. We are really going to start outpacing them. They've used so many of their turns, like super inefficiently, and then they used one of their most powerful cards in ECL just to kill my clone deserter. So of course I don't know what they have in hand, but that's just very, very weak. So I am happy to see that. I could have put the Jedi lightsaber on before and then killed their Royal Guard, but that would have forced me to not have gotten an additional experience on Rey. They're going to get rid of Luke. I think that was also a mistake. I don't necessarily think that they should have smuggled out the Bazine and taken the Luke. I think the Ewing reinforcement is by far a lot scarier in this spot. Let's go ahead and hit their ECL. Again, I can just kind of ignore them right now. I mean, I could get a Luke here, but I don't even think that Luke is necessarily the scariest. I think I'd rather get a R2 and Obi-Wan. Like Luke, yeah, I can kill their 7th Fleet or their Royal Guard, but I'd rather just get a massive Sentinel here. I think Ewing reinforcements was the scarier card. Granted, Bazine doesn't really do a whole lot in that spot anyways. Like they, again, use their entire turn extremely inefficiently by... Whoa. What just happened there? They use their turn extremely inefficiently by doing all this thing where, hey, I'm going to use this Bazine Natal for way higher cost. I mean, look how many cards they have in hand. Like, this matchup isn't really about card advantage. It's really about trying to get in and close the game with our powerful cards, not trying to get this like incremental advantage where you're outvaluing your opponent, or like stalling out the game. So we're going to go ahead and just hit in with Ray. I mean, she is an 8/12. I know I can kill Thrawn with it. I can kill Bazine Natal with it. It's completely not necessary. We didn't even need to use our ECL here. I could have ECL'd potentially at some points, but I mean, our opponent just disconnected, and that was going to be, I don't know why I said GG to them because they already left. But I mean, if you think about what happened this game, they went turn 1 Viper Probe Droid, turn 2, they either lost their Viper Probe Droid or just paid 1 to use Thrawn's action, which made it so that they couldn't play anything. Then the following turn, they exhausted the space unit, trying to bait us into attacking the probe droid, which then they ECL'd out their Royal Guard, and that was it. And then the following turn, they played like 7th Fleet, exhausted something, and then they did a Bazine Natal. Like, these are all very weak plays. I don't know what was in their hand, but I will say, I will definitely preferred to probably use some of the cards in their hand. On to the next, against Cassian Yellow. Mulligan, no, it seems like a reasonable hand. We got ourselves a resupply. We got ourselves a turn 1 play. Do I want to keep Quill, or do I want to just play the R2 out? There's a very good chance they're going to play something like Sabine on turn 1, and they look to be a little bit more aggressive, as heroism Yellow tends to be. So I think I want to get rid of this Quill, and I think I want to get rid of this Home 1. Home 1 is a little bit just too expensive in this matchup, and I'm keeping the R2 because it's going to be very difficult for them to kill R2 in this matchup. Of course, in this spot, Quill would have been by far the more exciting play, as we unfortunately have the experience of them going into space. Traitorous is going to be quite good here. If they follow this up with like a wing leader, we get to go ahead and just Traitorous it away. So we're definitely just going to start us off by resupplying here, because, oh, Surprise Strike. They're just going to get in for some damage. That's a little bit weaker. Definitely not nearly as scared of that one. Let's just claim initiative here, just in case we end up drawing something like a Marauder. That's actually a really nice draw here. I like that one. I think I'm going to get rid of this modded cohort at this point. So now, I mean, yeah, they got in for 6 damage, but we're just going to be able to kill their A-Wing, and then we're going to be able to flip Ray next turn. Again, the reason why I say resupply is quite good in this deck is because we have that restore with Ray. I would like to resolve the ambush attack. A little bit of lag here, I suppose. Can we resolve the ambush attack? There we go. Sneak attack a K2 out, huh? All right. Bottom that. Sneak attack a K2 is going to hit us for 7. Not too bad, really. Because we're going to go ahead and flip Ray. As I said, get some value going there. They're going to hit 3 here. We get another Marauder, which I kind of like in this spot. Traitors is looking a lot worse at this point. So I think we're probably just going to end up Maraudering. So I think I want to start off by just putting experience on R2. There's a very good chance that I like try to trade off Marauder and then Marauder the guy again so that I can ramp with Marauder, which sets me up for a home 1 next turn. But I mean, we are like really doing okay in this spot. Okay, they end up playing out a Poe-Dameron. That's fine. We're just going to kill the Poe-Dameron. They're going to claim initiative. We can go ahead and do R2, hit Poe-Dameron, bottom that. And then we flip Ray, play out, hit Poe-Dameron, give an experience to Ray. And I mean, the game is probably just over for them at this point, right? We have a Luke to kill whatever. We have restore. And I mean, their strategy of sneak attack and surprise striking in for damage gets completely ruined by what we're doing over here. So I like that. Let's go to resource the Sundari Peacekeeper. Outmaneuver, huh? Yeah, that's really not going to be all that great for you. Let's just go ahead and get in for 2 here. Restore 1. Then we're going to go ahead and play ourselves a Luke. Cassian comes down. I think here I am just going to play a Luke to give it -3/-3. Wing leader, huh? Okay, let's just kill their wing leader. They're going to claim initiative, huh? Okay. They can get in for some damage. Maybe they kill my Luke. Maybe they kill Rey. I'm really not that scared at all in this spot. Change of heart. Huh? Okay, let's just go ahead and put an Obi-Wan down then. Now they have to choose. Okay, do I want to go ahead and kill my Cassian? Ah, they have Saboteur. Never mind. I take it back. Let's go ahead and hit their Cassian here. Get some restoring going. Change of Heart's a good card, but Change of Heart's not really going to do too much because we're just going to give some experience over to our arc. And then we're going to ECL at a Queel. Kill their Cassian. Attack, attack. Pass, we get Luke back. We're sitting pretty at this point. If they have another Change of Heart, that would be pretty good for them, of course. But, I mean, they're kind of doing this, like, waffling thing. We had to use a lot of our resources in that spot, so that's definitely, like, not amazing for us. Let's just go ahead and get the value here. Kill their Disabling Fang Fighter. Get some value going. We don't have really amazing plays here, by the way. We kept our Marauder. Okay, let's kill their Millennium Falcon. Now we have a Marauder to follow up. They might not have anything. Okay, we're going to Clone Deserter. Put Marauder into play as a resource. Give an experience over to Clone Deserter. Attack for 6, restore. And, I mean, we are in a very good spot at this point. We could even time the intervention out of home 1, if we would like. Change of Heart was a good card for sure, but I mean, we had an Obi-Wan, which ended up doing some major work for us. I can't resist it. Resist it. We're gonna time the intervention out. Oh, I was like, I want to time the intervention out a home 1, kill their Millennium Falcon, get back a Sundari Peacekeeper, and restore 2. But then we're going to have restore 1 on all of our units. So this game was completely over. Of course, it was kind of over by the time that they Change of Heart in. Like, that was kind of the key that I think I was going to win the game. Because I didn't have a way to kill Luke off. And if you don't, then I'm just going to get Luke back the next turn. And that's pretty bad. But I always forget that Cassian has Saboteur. I was thinking that they were going to have to choose which ones to kill Obi-Wan. But they didn't have to because they could just kill Rey. Anyways. On to the next one, and we got ourselves an interesting matchup. This is a pretty good hand. I will probably put Luke Skywalker and Covert Strength in our resource pile. There's also a consideration for one of these Concord Dawn Interceptors or Sundari Peacekeeper, but I think I'd rather have these options in case I draw a lot of expensive stuff. I think this is just the more safe way to go about things. Fennec Shand Red is not a deck I fought against. Whoa. Oh, they revealed my name. For those of you that don't know, my name is Preston in real life. Hi. But anyways, we're gonna go with the Clone Deserter. They went with the A-Wing. And we're going to see how this game goes out. I haven't really seen too much of Fennec Shand, but the Fennec Shand can be a little bit scary if we have some of the more lower stated units. Remember, they have to actually go ahead and play a unit for essentially 1 additional cost. So it's got to be like a 3-drop that kills my Clone Deserter, and it probably just trades. So I think we're pretty advantaged in this spot. They went with A-Wing turn 1. They have a Fighters for Freedom. Not a bad one. I think in this spot, I'm just going to get down a Concord Dawn Interceptors and just block the space. Prevent any damage. They can't always hit it and then Tarkin Town it, which is totally reasonable. But I imagine, yeah, they decided not to go with that plan. And we draw a Clone Deserter and a Traitorous. Traitorous could be potentially pretty good in this matchup. I like these options, but I think in this spot, I want to get rid of this Sundari Peacekeeper because I am almost assuredly going to resupply this turn. Ah, there you go. They're going to ambush out a Rogue Operative. Let's go ahead and resupply here. And then let's go ahead and just play a Clone Deserter. And they might take initiative again and not go ahead and trade. Okay, they did not do that, which means that we have a pretty nice spot for us because we could ECL out this Obi-Wan and kill their fighters for freedom, which is going to be really nice for us. I think we could just get rid of this Traitorous. I'd rather have like Luke and Obi-Wan. And yeah, they can Tarkin Town away the Obi-Wan. If they do that, we put the experience on Clone Deserter and then kill their Rogue Operative. And then we can flip Rey and do our Rey thing, right? And then we can follow up next turn with Luke. So I think this game has started to become very us favored. I don't really see our opponent kind of coming back, especially since we are ahead on resources. And Fennec Shand is just a lot weaker as a flip. So I'm curious what they're going to do. They're going to go ahead and play Fennec. That's fine. We're going to go ahead and use our time to kill the Rogue Operative. Just kind of control the ground. Once we kind of flip Rey, that's when it really starts to become a massive us favored game. It's going to hit for 1. I'm only doing this so that we can stall an action instead of passing and then they claim initiative or whatever. This allows us to potentially flip Rey afterwards. The reason most likely why they flipped Fennec first is to get some value going with potentially an action off of her, maybe cheapening the activation. One way that this could go a little bit wrong is if they surprise strike Rey, but even if they do that, we are in a spot where we can just kill their Fennec or their fighters for freedom with Clone Deserter, which is pretty nice. Okay, they decided to hit Rey for 6 and a daring raid. Okay, so they ended up getting rid of it. That's totally fine. That's another Obi-Wan. That's a pretty good one. Marauder looking a little bit odd. Covert Strength could be good. I think in this spot, I just want to go ahead and... I don't like dropping Obi-Wan. I actually just like dropping Luke, killing Fennec. It's going to be a pretty high value play. Give us more restore options. And... Ooh, okay, they're going to shield the fighters for freedom and exhaust my Clone Deserter. We don't really need to worry about the damage that we're taking at this point or even killing their units because we have Restore 1, Restore 3, and a better board state. And next turn, we can just deploy an Obi-Wan. All their units have Saboteur right now, so that's something to consider. I think we could probably get rid of one of the Obi-Wans because we can go Modded Cohort, Sundari Peacekeeper, plus Rey activation if we want to go that direction. Let's go Modded Cohort, Ambush, kill their Ketsu Onyo. Make sure they don't remove any sort of experience tokens off of our units. They're going to go ahead and kill my Clone Deserter. Let's just hit their base here. I'm tempted to go ahead and use Covert Strength on my Modded Cohort here. But I think we just... Ooh, they have a Valiant Assault Ship. Nice, nice, nice. That was a good one. I take back what I said. I'm just going to play a Sundari Peacekeeper and give it an experience token. Yeah, Valiant Assault Ship is going to be a 5-4 for 4. All Saboteur, by the way. Pretty nice. Our Sentinels, not really doing too much. I like Timely Intervention, but I'm going to resource it since we can Timely Intervention out an Obi-Wan if we want to. The other option I have is to resource... No, that's not really an option. I was thinking we could resource the Restore Arc and then Time Intervention Obi and then Covert Strength, but that's not an option. We don't have enough resources for that. Asteroid Sanctuary. Okay. Let's just go ahead and get in for 4 into their base. And then let's go ahead and attack for 4 again with our Sundari Peacekeeper. They can keep exhausting Luke, but we have a massive advantage on the ground. So arm to the teeth. Ooh, sweet. Are they smuggling it out? Yes, they are. All right, let's give an experience token over to Sundari Peacekeeper. Let's see if they decide to hit my Sundari Peacekeeper, because of course they do, then we can always time intervention out a Obi-Wan. We could also time intervention out a restored arc, so that's always good for us. Modded cohort was the attacked target. Okay, let's just go ahead and hit their base. And then we don't need to do anything. We'll just claim initiative. And then we just finish out the game. Pretty interesting. We saw a couple cards come out and ambush us, but we just had too much restore to really get anything done on that side of the battlefield. And well, there we go. Love seeing someone I know playing on Karabast. I play a lot of this, by the way. If anyone wants to play against me randomly, just jump on here and I play randomly throughout all the days. But pretty sweet. Love seeing Fennec Shand. I don't think Fennec is a very good leader. I always really want to try getting something working with her, but every single time it feels like it's just a little bit too weak, especially when you have like Sabine running around, or like Sabine Yellow running around, or heck, even like Boba Yellow or things like that can do some other things. Anyways, good game. On to the next one. On to the next game, and we got ourselves a really solid hand. We can go double Jedi Lightsaber on Yoda. They could have things like Rivals Fall, Takedown, stuff like that, which could be a little bit dangerous. So I'm not going to do the double Jedi Lightsaber on Yoda. I'm going to resource one of them, and probably the Sundari Peacekeeper, because I do want this Marauder. We're against Chewie Red, which makes me think that they could have things like Pillage, sort of like a Rey Red discard deck, but instead of Rey, it's Chewie, which will obviously be, well, similar, but not quite the same. Here we have probably a resourcing of an R2. We can always give an experience to R2 and then kill their Sabine. But I think I just want to get down Yoda here to start us off. Okay, they're going to give Sentinel to their Tree Tender, which means I'm just going to play Yoda and then probably just take initiative in this spot. Next turn, I can go ahead and modded cohort the Tree Tender. That's going to be a nice little value play for us. All right, they hit my base with their Sabine. I can also like put a Jedi Lightsaber on Yoda, but that's a little bit more risky, I'll say. We're just going to kill the Tree Tender with the modded cohort to start us off. And now we kept the resupply here because next turn we can resupply the Ray Flip, which will be nice. Okay, they're gonna hit modded cohort with their attack. Okay, wait, no, they decided not to. Let's go ahead and hit Sabine here. Traitorous, looking kind of mediocre in this spot. Resilient, huh? All right, we're just gonna claim initiative. I'm okay with Resilient. Resilient just ends up having us trade our modded cohort with their Sabine Wren. Another Marauder. I do like the resupply in this spot. We're not gonna be able to double play here, but I like just killing their Sabine and then flipping Rey. And then seeing where we go from here. I'm attacking with R2 first just to see if they have any plays to make. Okay, they do not. So we're going to go ahead and put an experience token on our Yoda. We're going to play resupply, flip Rey, attack with Yoda, attack with Rey, put an experience on Rey, and that is a fantastic turn. Now let's go ahead and resource this timing intervention, and we're going to see what our opponent's got. They can't ramp into Chewie here, so that's something that we're probably just completely fine against. Let's attack with Yoda to start us off. I'm not really worried about space. I'm okay with taking some damage here. They're going to play a Village Protectors, huh? Awesome. Let's Jedi Lightsaber the Rey. And then we're just going to be able to kill the Village Protectors pretty simplistically. And we could even ECL out something if we want to. Although I think we just put an experience on R2, kill their village protectors with Ray. They didn't even need to use Chewy action because these things have Sentinel as a base level. Let's go ahead and play out our Sundari Peacekeeper and then pass. That's an Obi-Wan. That's a pretty nice one. I think we just get rid of this Yoda here. They could flip Chewy, but that's a pretty rough one for them, to be honest. Let's go ahead and just play Obi-Wan. Heroic Resolve, huh? Give an experience to Sundari Peacekeeper, hit Chewy for 9 or 6, and we only get Ray hit for 1. They're gonna hit our thing for 12, which is nice, but I mean, Chewy's dead. We have Restore. We get to draw cards. We get to hit with the Sundari Peacekeeper. We'll play out a Clone Deserter, and I mean, look, all of our units have Restore. It is really rough for our opponent. Clone Deserter can go into the resource pile. We could have potentially gotten some value somewhere along the line with something else, but I mean, it doesn't matter. We just kill them here. Getting a Jedi Lightsaber on Rey, as I mentioned earlier, was exactly what we wanted to look for in the Chewie matchup. Of course, against Chewie Red, it's even better because they can't ramp, so we have some time to develop. But I mean, this game wasn't particularly close. Again, I can ignore it. It's like, yes, I could have maraudered many times, and I would have been able to kill a Disabling Fang Fighter, taking a little bit less damage. They might have killed it with a Desperado Fighter. Like, I could have done that, right? But there's no need. If I just fully control the ground, which I can very easily, then I can just rely on these restoring units to out heal the damage that we're being dealt. And this is just completely irrelevant because, yeah, they can deal damage, which just negates my restore, but that puts us in the base even, right, with the restore versus their damage. And then at the same time, I have a way better ground board state, so now their leader flip is way more useless than mine. Ground is inherently more valuable just because the leader is always a ground unit, at least for now. So if you can take control of that, it's usually going to be a little bit more you advantaged. Anyways, let's move on to our final game of today. And in our final matchup, looks like we're against Jabba Yellow. So this is going to be a pretty sweet one. I like the Queel and I like the resupply. I think I can safely get rid of the Luke because the way this game is going to go is I'm going to go turn 1 Queel, turn 2 resupply, turn 3 Marauder. Even if they don't have anything to Marauder and kill. Queel's really nice in this matchup because it's going to help me draw, ideally, 1 to 2 additional cards. Hopefully, they don't have like a Cloud Rider here. It's not the worst for us by any means. But, you know, we're fine. Okay, they went ahead and Bazine Natal'd my card that I wanted to play, the resupply. Here, I think I could just get rid of the Marauder, actually. And I want to just start off with an experience token on Queel. They could have various different ways to mess this up. But at the worst case scenario, I'm able to just put a price on your head on Bazine and move on with my life, right? Ideally, I'm putting experience on Queel so that I can kill Bazine and then ramp regardless. But we'll see what ends up happening. Not going to put a Jedi Lightsaber on Queel because if they have a way to deal with Queel, that's like the worst case, right? At least this way, I still get the price on your head out. Okay. They are going to probably just replay the Bazine, huh? That's fine. This is not exactly something that's advantageous for them. We're just going to claim initiative and... Oh, I should have put a price on your head on the Bazine. That was a mistake. Hold on. I didn't. That was a little bit of a mistake. I'll get my value going. Are they going to take the E-Wing reinforcements again? We'll see. I meant to do this, and then they can take initiative. I was in a different state. I apologize, opponent. That was my mistake. This is a pretty good hand, though. I mean, I am happy with where we're at. We drew double Clone Deserter. That's a kind of a weak draw, but at least we get to go Clone Deserter plus Resupply, so that's nice. Put a bounty on Queel, huh? I'm okay with that because we can then follow it up with a Resupply and then just flip Ray this turn, which is going to be super valuable for us. And we drew a home one off of Queel, so that's kind of nice. They get to claim the bounty. They played a Reputable Hunter. Okay, let's just go ahead and Resupply. Let's go ahead and play a Clone Deserter. And then let's flip Ray. Give an experience token to Ray and then pass. And I mean, we are in a very good spot here. Traitorous could be somewhat relevant at some point. I think it's a little bit more high value than Queel at this point. I want to probably get down a Luke. If not, I guess I would go like Obi. And if not Obi, I go Jedi Lightsaber plus Queel. I don't think I'm going to play Traitorous. I take it back. I'm actually just going to get rid of the Traitorous at this point. Let's just go ahead and attack with Ray. There's a very good chance I just want to play Luke here. Maybe there's not a good chance that I want to play Luke. No, I think just playing Luke is just going to be so valuable. I don't really see a reason not to. All right, their turn was play Greedo. Oof, that is very bad for them. Remember, they can flip Jabba to have another unit that they have capture one of my units. But that's about it. I'm kind of interested in this price on your head because we have so many cards in hand that we're actually going to be able to use the resources if we do get them. They could try here to... Oh, they're going to 4-lom ambush my Ray. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, that ends up working reasonably well for them. Let's price on your head the 4-lom. Let's see if they decide to hit my base with Greedo or hit Luke. They hit Luke. I think that's smart because there's no reason to hit my base when I have Luke on the battlefield. Put a Luke or attack with Luke, and now we have double Jedi Lightsaber for our 2 units here, which is going to be quite nice. I like home 1 as well. I'll probably just get rid of the Queel in this spot because R2 can help us craft our draws, and if they play like a space unit and try to capture something here, we can timely intervention out home 1 because this deploys on 7, so they can actually deploy Jabba here. They have to play a unit first before they play Jabba. They're gonna put a bounty on Obi. Okay, let's just attack with Obi then. Okay, they're gonna flip Jabba. Not really sure why. I think in this spot, I'm just going to play the R2. I'll top an Obi. That seems pretty good. Jabba's Rancor. Okay. A little bit strange. As I mentioned, I think that they should have played Jabba's Rancor before Jabba, but, you know, that's okay. Put a Jedi Lightsaber. Oh, we get to add experience. Let's go ahead and put a Jedi Lightsaber on Luke. And then we'll put another Jedi Lightsaber on Luke, and then we'll win the game. Nothing else that we need to do here. Lightsaber on Luke. And hit their base for 14. GG. Whew, that was kind of a stomp, I'm not going to lie. Like, we really just kind of messed up what they were doing. Again, it's one of the reasons why I don't think Bazine is that good. You kind of saw there, turn 1... Bazine do the clunky thing and, you know, replay it, but we draw a card after. So usually what that ends up doing is opening you up to a different play. Maybe it's not as good, but you also played a 1-3. Like, yeah, you reduced your opponent's play, but you played a 1-3, which is almost always nothing. So you're kind of just trading off like a good play that you could have made for a slightly worse play than your opponent makes, and that's why I don't really like it. Jabba's Rancor, on the other hand, I think that card is sweet, and I love that card, and I think he's a little bit underrated. Anyways, that's going to wrap up all of our games. Pretty sweet, and let's talk about the deck at the end of the video here. All right, so what do we learn about Ray Green? Well, it's really solid. You saw, especially against like Kylo Red or actually, maybe I played that one off camera. I can't remember. Against any of the aggressive decks like Cassian Yellow. I know we played that one on camera. they just couldn't really do anything because we have so much natural restore. And it's not even like we're trying to build the deck that way. Of course, there is like a sub theme, right? In that we do value restore because we want to get to a Ray flip. We want to play Lukes. We want to play U-Wings. But also just the cards that work well with Ray naturally out of restore, like Clone Deserter, turn 1, 3, 4 with restore. That's awesome. Sundari Peacekeeper, a 3/5 with restore 2. Also awesome. Like these cards are just naturally good with Ray. Every single card in today's list actually found its place in the video today. We saw Price on Your Head be pretty good. We saw Time Intervention come into play a couple of times. We saw Clone Deserter a lot. We saw ourselves ramping into Ray and kind of getting the value out of there. We saw Jedi Lightsaber come into place. Traitorous in that one Tarkin Yellow matchup just completely winning the whole game for us. Obi being amazing. Luke, of course, always being amazing. The strength of this deck here is really the fact that you're able to really control the board early on and into the mid game. The decks that really do well against Ray Green are going to be the ones that are going even bigger. You saw us get absolutely murdered by a Vader Green deck. And as I said, things like Pillage could potentially be a little bit better. But to be honest, Ray Green or Ray Red would have lost most of their matchups against Vader Green because they are just doing more ramp, going a little bit bigger than anything else, and just outvaluing us. The place that Ray Red gets an advantage is that you can really sometimes time a Pillage at a proper moment where your opponent doesn't have enough cards to actually do their ramp thing and have payoffs. So they're top decking. But in that spot, it's also a little bit risky because they're already ramping to a Darth Vader, right? Which is better than Ray. It's just a bad matchup because Vader can naturally one-shot a Ray. So that's kind of an issue. And also, you're not ramping as well, which means that they're going to get Vader out way before Ray. So again, there's pros and cons. The more controlling matchups, that's where Ray Red shines. And the more aggressive matchups is where Ray Green shines. Both of them, solid decks. It just really depends on where your meta is. If you're seeing a lot of Tarkin Yellows, play Green. Traitorous is there. If you're seeing a lot of, Vader Blues or double Blue Iden, Ray Red is where it's at. That's where you have to make that decision. But hopefully you all enjoyed, and hopefully you got to see the variation on Ray today and see its power and some of its weaknesses. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you all for the next one.